A woman who forgave the past and faced the future. Once upon a time in a small English town, there lived a woman named Alaun. She was bright, full of dreams, and eager to build a happy life. But life had its own plans. At a young age, Alaun married, hoping for love and stability. Yet, her husband, Aldrich, was cold and often harsh. After years of hardship, he left her alone with 2 young children. Those days were the hardest in Alaun's life. She struggled to provide for her children, often going to bed hungry herself so they could eat. Her heart ached with loneliness and pain. Friends and relatives sometimes pitied her, but their sympathy made her feel even more isolated. One cold night, as Alaun sat by the window gazing at the stars, a quiet voice spoke within her, "Greater than forgive. Don't carry the weight of the past. Holding on to anger only breaks your own heart and dims your children's future. You need hope and patience." From that moment, Alaun made a decision. She would forgive not only Aldrich but also herself for all the self-doubt and sorrow. She understood that forgiveness would free her spirit and open the path to a better tomorrow. Alaun started taking small jobs around town, helping carry groceries, mending clothes, and eventually saving enough to buy a small sewing machine. The first machine broke down, but she fixed it with help from a kind neighbor. Every stitch she sewed was a stitch toward healing her wounded heart. Slowly, her skills grew, and more people in the town began to notice her talent. Young women from her neighborhood came to her, eager to learn the craft. However, not everyone believed in her. Some whispered behind her back, doubting she could overcome her past. One evening, at a local celebration, Alaun stayed up late sewing beautiful dresses for 2 young women preparing for their weddings. The brides-to-be hugged her warmly, saying, "Greater than you have magic in your hands and kindness in your heart. Thank you for giving us hope." Years later, Alaun moved to the city and opened a small atelier. She hired single mothers and young women who had nowhere else to turn. To them, she was more than a boss. She was a mentor who taught them not only how to sew but how to rebuild their lives with patience and courage. Alaun often said to her apprentices, "Greater than sewing is more than making clothes. It's about weaving hope where there was none. Forgive the past and stitch your future with love, not hate." Her work gained recognition, and she was invited to showcase her designs at a prestigious fashion event. When asked about the secret to her success, she smiled and said, "Greater than my secret is forgiveness. Holding on to anger only weighs you down. Forgiveness sets you free." One day, Aldrich, now an old and frail man, came to Alaun's atelier. He looked worn and regretful. Tears welled in his eyes as he asked, "Greater than Alaun, did you forgive me?" She looked at him calmly and replied, "Greater than I forgave long ago." Holding on to anger only cages the heart. Forgiveness gives it wings. Her children stood by her side, proud of the strength and grace their mother carried. Alaun's atelier flourished, becoming a beacon for many women seeking a second chance. Every year, she offered free training to girls in need and gifted sewing machines to those who excelled. She would write on each machine a message, "Greater than the past may be heavy, but forgiveness turns it into wings." Her daughter, Siren, followed in her footsteps, carrying forward the legacy of hope and resilience. Together, they founded the Forgiven Heart Center, a place where women shared their stories, healed, and helped each other soar. The lesson: a heart that forgives is a heart that flies free. Anger binds, but forgiveness liberates. True strength lies in patience, forgiveness, and moving forward.